Thank you so much for staying with us. Right now, we will be discussing fire incidents, how it occurs in minor as well as major ways. And these fire outbreaks, especially in urban areas, has indeed assumed an alarming rate, as there is barely a day without occurrence of one incident or the other, leaving in its wake destruction of properties worth millions of naira, sometimes loss of lives. Well, we have joining us on the show to elaborate and show us some first aid measures is the Director, Lagos State Fire Service, Rasaki Musibao. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
And he has his colleagues here this morning. They are part of the guests in the studio. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning. Well, you can join the conversation on 07080668014. Tweet to us at TVC Connect with the hashtag YourViewTVC. Let's start from the home front. What is this? While researching, I'm told that cooking utensils or cooking equipment are the major cause of fire incidents at home. Perhaps that's wrong, but that's what research told me. But then tell us, how can we avoid, you know, we are women here majorly, and apologies to the audience, the men here. But then let's start from the home front. What do we do wrong, or what do we have to do to avoid these incidents, seeing the kitchen is a major place?
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, let me say this, that let me establish the fact that fire outbreak is actually a phenomenon that is inevitable. Yes, it's inevitable in the sense that fire outbreaks are usually caused by a human being, mostly, and that is through our negligence. Yes, through our negligence, because there are do and don'ts that we need to observe. But once we fail to observe those do and don'ts, definitely there will be fire outbreak. Fire cannot just occur. Though we have classes of fire, we have the types of fires that we can witness within our environment. We have those ones that are caused by carelessness, which I've just mentioned. That's our negligence. And we have those ones that are caused through accidents.
You give us examples of all of this.
Okay, I will. Through accidents. Well, when I mean carelessness, for example, if you are a smoker, if you smoke cigarettes, and you know cigarette is smoked by the burnt of that element called cigarette, and by the time you smoke the better part of it, the ends must be thrown away. And while you throw that away, you throw on a combustible materials. What will happen? There will be fire outbreak.
Of course.
Because we know that cigarette is driven by the ordinary fire for you to enjoy that thing called cigarette. By the time you smoke finished, what you need to do is probably make sure that you put off the ends, the fire at the ends of the cigarette completely before you throw it away. Okay. But unknowingly, you see, discard the cigarette ends. Okay, and sir, probably you throw on...
most people watching right now would like to have, you know, you mentioned very preventable. You mentioned one of them. Yes. But like you said, most fires take place within the home and within our women's jurisdiction. Exactly. What are like 3 tips that every person watching can implement that would reduce occurrence or incidences of fire outbreak?
Yes, let me quickly talk on that. Most fires, while it happens, involves our homes. And the major causes of such fires, if not storage of petrol in the house, it will be electrical upsurge. If not electrical upsurge, it will be gas fire resulting from cooking gas, that's domestic gas, that mostly women, like you said, use in the kitchen. And you see, the habit that has been cultivated by most women and even in their house is that we install the cylinders right inside the kitchen. Yes, to do our cooking, And you see, there is no way for human existence. You must make a living. You must cook every day for you to sustain life. And as such, while the cylinder is installed inside the kitchen, under the stove, for you to drive the stove, for you to get your fire, for your burning, you will see that while there is any accident from the gas cylinder, it will be difficult for you to probably put out the fire, because the possibility of you isolating that fire will be very difficult, because the danger is right inside the kitchen. And the first thing you do is you should be able to isolate the source of that your fire. And as such, we advise what you do is the stove will be right inside the kitchen, while the gas cylinder
is outside.
That is to drive the stove should be installed outside, so that in the event of any fire break or whatever, you can quickly run behind the kitchen to shut the supply of your gas to the stove. So, by the time you shut off, you've taken a step to preventing that fire from escalating.
I'd like you to talk about how people using buildings should structure buildings. I'm a firefighter's daughter, and I know that my father used to emphasize an alternative door, exit door, and used to emphasize so much on ventilation that, you know, fire and all these issues that most people have, we don't have an escape route when fire happens in the house. And he talks about the most dangerous in a fire situation, which is, you know, choking. I want you to emphasize these dangers so that people know when they are building how important, especially landlords, how important it is, you know, to have an alternative door and exit and, you know, proper ventilation when they're building. For those people who usually like to do one room manage, the dangers that they put in place, because I can see from the clip we're showing that you're trying to put out a fire and some difficulties that you face when you do it.
Yes, thank you very much. I think what should come to mind first in everybody should be safety of our life before anything relating to firefighting or fire prevention. Yes, let me come to your comments. Now, evacuation is one of the most important things that we should always think about. If there is fire outbreak, what comes to mind is what? Our safety before anything. And anytime a building is to be constructed, we should always give priority to adequate exits. And that's our openings where if there is fire break, you can take your way out to a safe point. In a building where there is no exit and peradventure fire occur, there is no fire without smoke. I am coming to your question now. There is no fire without smoke. Definitely, if fire occur, there will be smoke. If you look at the video clips that we are looking at now, you will see that we are seeing firemen fighting the fire and we are seeing smoke. The firemen are kitted anyway. But for an ordinary person that is not a fireman and you are in the house, once there is fire outbreak, definitely smoke will emerge. And if there is no exit or the house is not well ventilated, when we talk about ventilation now, we're talking about the windows, the doors, where smoke can escape from the fire that is burning. And that is why you see in most cases when there is fire outbreak, where there is no adequate exit for somebody to probably take
loss of life.
To probably get out of the building. You see that person will be tracked by that smoke.
Yes. Sir, how do we prepare ourselves in case of this fire outbreak in our homes? Because I remembered when we were constructing our building, and my engineer insisted that we have this hole on the ground called thunder arrestor, because you know natural fire too can cause, we have natural disasters.
Exactly.
So, but I was arguing with him, close that place, I don't want my kids playing and getting injured, and he insisted that we must have that hole in the ground to prevent thunder. So when thunder strikes, it doesn't strike the house directly, it goes straight to the earth. The earth has a way of pulling that thunder. So how do we protect ourselves? Like when I go to offices, I also see them, they have fire alarms, they have smoke detectors, but we don't have as such in our personal home. So how do we protect ourselves in case, because anything can happen?
Thank you. I don't think there is any law that exempts anybody from having a fire extinguisher in the house. Yes. If we're actually looking at our safety and prevention.
Perhaps we've not understood the importance.
The importance, thank you.
About.
Yes, you see, it is good. It is important that we have fire extinguishers, fire blankets, name it, in the house as initial firefighting equipment. Because those equipment that we are mentioning, they are for initial firefighting operations. Where your fire just starts, you pick up the fire extinguisher, discharge appropriately, and you put up the fire to save millions of naira.
All right. We'll continue this discussion because we need to quickly take a break. When we return, we'll talk more on this topic. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
We're still talking how to avoid fire incidences, and we still have our guest in the studio. Before we went on the break, you were telling us about the importance of having the fire extinguishers in the house. And Tokpa wanted to ask a question, so she quickly asked that because we need to talk about the various issues, the various instruments here that we can use to attack the different kinds of fires.
Okay, so I had a personal experience of fire outbreak from my generator.
Oh,
now I grew up with a hands-on father that if there's something smelling, we know that we go and switch off the socket. You know, you mentioned isolation, but I on the other hand have a husband that does not understand what you should do immediately you notice something like that happens. And I think that we should educate people to know that, okay, when you smell something burning, you go switch off the fire, you look for where it's burning, you switch off everything that you think can lead to more electrical damage. I used water to put out the fire though, and I heard it doesn't work. So can you educate us more on why water doesn't work? What can we use to attack?
Yes, thank you very much. Let me emphasize the fact that your water can work.
For generator? Yes. It didn't
not
work
for not for generator
for
now.
Fire.
For a particular kind of fire. There are particular fires that you can fight with ordinary water. Yes, because we have these fires in classes. About 4 classes of fires.
Please break it down.
We have class A fire, which involves the ordinary burning materials. Free burning materials like paper, cloth, wood, name it. Once they burn, they become ashes. And you see, immediately such fire happens, the first thing you should do that should come to your mind is not the firefighting first. Please think of your safety first. If it is conducive enough for you to fight that fire, please do. But while you do that, don't forget to call the fire service. This is what people fail to do.
That's call.
Immediately fire occur. They think about properties. Think about life, certificates, name it. Some will not even think about certificate, they think about money. Electronics, money.
Seriously?
Yes.
Yes.
They go around.
TV.
They go around.
But more importantly, the numbers to call, you have to
yes,
call it out later.
I will. So immediately you notice this is a fire break, irrespective of the magnitude of the fire. Don't look at any fire as small fire. Call the fire service immediately. Then while you call the fire service, if you have your equipment, like you said, if it is involving electronics, go to the source of your electricity to the building. That's the first thing that should come to your mind immediately you evacuate the building. Remove the source of electricity to that house. Once you remove, you have prevented the fire from escalating. Then immediately you do that, look at if you have your fire extinguishers, which is a must for everybody to have in the house, but at least 1 or 2.
The challenge is how to use it for some people. But quickly, before we go to talk about that, we have Olushola on the line calling from Ikosi. Welcome, Olushola. Go ahead with your contribution.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, my name is Elishola. I'm calling from KTS, from KTS. I think government should enforce people to have fire extinguishers in their houses. I think there should be a regulatory body looking into this issue, because we have it everywhere now. If you go to this place, there's fire here, there's fire everywhere. There should, if you want to build your house now, it should be a compulsory thing to have fire extinguisher in your houses, and the houses that do not have it should be compared by the government or the regulatory body looking into this matter.
All right. Thank you, Olushola. Thank you. We are running out of time, so we need you to really exhaust this. How to use the number to call, and then how to use an extinguisher at home.
Yes. And like I was saying, once you're able to do that, you have the fire extinguisher, go to the point where the fire extinguisher is on. Then you use. That's for Class A fire. For Class B, we have oil materials. And that is some of those things that we use in the house. You're cooking, you fry, petrol, you drive your generator with petrol. Then the other class is the gaseous fire. That is where we have our cooking gas in the house that we use to do our cooking. Then the last one is metal, which we find very, very much present in the house. So those are the classes of fire. Now for these classes of fire, we have 4 classes of fire extinguishers. We have for Class A, which is the free burning materials, the water CO2, which contains, the cylinder contains just ordinary water driven by a cartridge or pressurized in that cylinder for you to quickly put off the fire. That is after you must have isolated electricity from the house. Otherwise, that could be electrocution. Yeah. So that once you notice this is a paper, cloth, and whatever burning, pick your fire extinguisher water.
I hear when it's AC, they just cover with the blankets. You could soak your blankets in water and cover it. Quickly.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So the next, how to use the extinguisher.
Yes.
And the blanket.
The third one is the CO2, which is meant for the gaseous fire. Then the dry chemical powder, which is meant for the Class 4 fire, which is metal. Now the usage. The fire extinguisher is so designed that you can carry around. They are so portable. That's why it is stamped portable fire extinguisher for an ordinary person who is not a fireman to put off initial fire, preventing it from becoming a large one, which would now in turn to destroy our properties and sometimes take our life to save millions of naira. Then the fire extinguisher, there is a pin on it. You can see it. There is a pin that is incorporated on the head for you to prevent you from just ordinary discharging the content when not needed. What you do is just go there, pick with the handle, remove the safety pin. Once you remove the safety pin, you press the trigger together for the content to come out. Once you see the content coming out, target the base of the fire that is burning. The base? The base of the fire that is burning. That is for Class A, water CO2, for Class C, which is gaseous fire, for Class B, dry powder. Then for the dry powder, there are techniques of using it. You just sweep the fire because it's powder.
Like this, I mean?
Yes, you just sweep so that you can capture the fire.
Sadly, Mr. We have run out of time. We cannot take anything anymore. The number you have to quickly call.
It is simple. You don't need to think of all the GSM numbers in the world. The government of Lagos has so designed a very small number, three-digit number.
Okay.
767 112.
Okay.
767 112. Once you are able to dial that, even without a cover on your phone, just dial the 3
All right.
digits
Thank
number.
you. Thank you, Mr. Rasaki.
But for the fire service, once we want to get through, because some people they want to get directly to the fire service. We have our outline.
Quickly.
MTN line 080 33
all right
23
23
5891.
91.
Okay.
I got
We'll
it.
tweet
All right,
it.
we'll tweet it for you guys.
Got
Thank
it.
you so much, Mr. Rasaki Musipai, for breaking it down for us this morning. We have run out of time. Thank you, guests, for coming. Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. I have to rush this. Thank yous. Remember the number 767-112. It's the fire line. It's toll free. But then, thank you so much for watching. That's all we can take this morning on the show. Have a great day. Bye now.